I cut all of these hairstyles: long shags, textured bobs, curly hair, pixies, bi-levels, and asymmetricals, using a technique that I call gearhead layering. Gearhead technique involves strategic sectioning, disconnection, and over-direction, and it can make any layered haircut really pop. Gearhead layering gives you total control to create airy layers from subtle to extreme, no matter how thick or thin the hair. Gearhead layering is easy to master. Today, I will show you how to use the technique when cutting long, very thick hair. First, we consult. My client has very dense hair of medium coarse texture with slight curl and frizziness. While she has tons of hair in the back, the front is top-heavy. Her hairline projects significantly over the forehead. The hair in the recession points is short and wispy, and the temple area in front of the ears is narrow. She wants the finished length to reach top of the bra. She wants to remove bulkiness, especially in the back, and she wants soft framing on the face, but she still wants to be able to pull all of her hair into a high ponytail. I prepared her hair with an appropriate shampoo and mask for her texture and condition. I apply a heat protective detangler, and I use a wet brush to save time in detangling her hair. On similar hair, you should expect this cut to take 45 minutes to an hour to complete. I will be cutting right-handed. Divide the hair down the center from nose to nape. Divide each side into 3 or more diagonal subsections guided by the hair density and texture. To cut the long perimeter, I will over-direct the hair forward onto the chest. Cutting the hair on the chest automatically creates a rounded perimeter that is longest at the center back. The rounded perimeter makes the hair easier to updress in ponytails and buns. I keep my client's head upright in natural position. She must look straight ahead for this part of the haircut. Any random head wandering will change the lengths as I cut. If my client can't keep her head still, I ask her to close her eyes while I cut the perimeter. I thoroughly comb the hair forward and cut each side in alternation without tension. I cut each pair of subsections slightly longer than the one before to create a slight undercut. I will check each pair of subsections for equal length as I go. Because I establish my perimeter from the front, the ends will appear full and thick when worn forward rather than thin and stringy. Notice how the center back is now longer than the sides. Once all subsections have been cut, I comb the hair back and tilt my client's chin forward. I check the perimeter for straggly hair. Tilting the head forward assures that the perimeter remains slightly undercut, avoiding that sloppy-looking, choppy edge too common in bobbed long hair. If a rounded perimeter is desired, cut off the point at center back as you perform this check. now section a series of interlocking, gear-shaped panels across the back of the head. This sectioning method allows you to create disconnected yet merging layers. I draw zigzags on the scalp with my tail comb to section. The deeper the zigzag, the more disconnected and airiness I achieve. I usually draw deep zigzags for dense hair and shallow zigzags for sparse hair. The zigzags of one section's parting should not nest in those of the next. When the partings nest, the desired textural effect will be either weakened or lost. Points should be staggered, more or less forming a diamond pattern between the two partings. I cut the nape panel first. I part off a border along the hairline at least 1 inch deep in order to preserve the perimeter line. This border hair should appear equally dense. If I see any gaps or thin spaces, I adjust the border until it looks evenly thick. Comb the entire nape gear panel to the center back and tightly pinch it together to cut it in one go. I cut a diagonal line shorter toward the scalp and longer toward the perimeter. To reduce density and add movement to the hair, I subsection the nape panel vertically between the upper zigzag points. I taper the strand by slide cutting each subsection along its upper point. When the hair is ultra dense, I may also thin these subsections with blending shears, using multiple diagonal cuts as needed. After finishing the nape, I take down the occipital panel and carefully comb it upward. I compress the entire panel to center back and cut it parallel to the floor. I then subsection vertically and slide cut the upper points as before. I thin the hair if necessary. I next release the top panel and smooth it straight up with a comb or a wet brush if the hair is stubborn. I then point cut it to the desired length. Finally, I divide the top panel into pie-shaped subsections, rotating around the center part. I thin each subsection from 1 to 3 times to reduce bulkiness. I always thin the top, except when I want to see a weight line or when the client's hair is very sparse on top. Next, I address the sides. I reserve a band along the hairline up to 1 inch deep. It is crucial that this band of reserved hair appear evenly dense. When the recession points are sparse or naturally short, I part further back until the length and density appear equal. Otherwise, I will have to confront holes or thin spots when I go to cut out the face frame. From the center part, I draw a diagonal back zigzag parting toward the division point over the ear. I comb this section away from me and move to the opposite side of the head. I cut this section on a diagonal, shorter at the face and longer toward the ear. This strong over-direction permits steeper layering on the sides where hair supply is limited. After cutting, I clip the section up and out of the way to keep it separate. I do this on both sides of the head. Next, I part a second zigzagged diagonal back line below the top section. I comb this section straight up and cut. Diagonal back parting automatically preserves length by the ear. I will cut the lower sides and facial frame after I blow her out. Dry detailing gives me more control cutting steep angles around the face because the hair will not stick together as it does when it is wet. I blow her hair out with the appropriate styling aids for her texture and condition. I have my client part her hair where she will wear it. I will balance all my detailing from this parting. I part off the temple area to cut the frame for her neck and upper shoulders. I comb the section forward and cut to the desired taper, short to long. I always aim the tips of my shears in the direction of fall. I assess visually and recut until the desired effect is created. I repeat this procedure on the opposite side, checking for balance. I cut the forehead hairline in narrow sections, short to long, beginning at the parting. I comb each subsection down in line with natural fall, with minimal overdirection or elevation. I visually assess and adjust until the desired taper is achieved. In top-heavy hair, narrow sections gives me the most control. This client's hair is very top-heavy, and she requires more detailing than most. Using the mirror as my guide, I over-direct my gears 180 degrees from their fall and chip and thin as necessary. 180 over direction assures very steep layers with complete control. The best haircuts fall back into place by themselves after being wind-blown, so I will periodically muss her hair or ask her to headbang in order to see precisely where the cut needs further tuning. We are satisfied once the hair automatically falls into a balanced, graceful shape after the last headbang. cut is now complete. Have fun and keep running with scissors.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.